get started. I'm Troy Viancore. I am the owner at C21 here in Cornwall, Ontario. And I am joined by some of our up-and-coming stars in the real estate industry, Matthew Gerges, Eric Bainville, Nick Ogwire. Guys, how you doing?
Awesome.
Doing great, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So we've decided that we're going to do this YouTube show. You can call it a show, just to talk about the real estate industry in general. We also want to talk about what's happening locally in our community. It just gives us something to contribute to what is happening during this pandemic. The idea initially started, we were going to do a weekly, monthly show to provide people with real estate information. Now we've been thrown into this crazy world with this pandemic that's happened. So we've decided to still continue doing it, but we're going to adjust it a little bit. And today we're going to talk about, we have quite a few topics because this is the first one that we do. We're definitely going to give you information on the real estate market and some must-know information for you guys if you're looking at buying or selling. We're going to talk about COVID and how it's affecting our business, how it's affecting our personal lives. We're going to talk about local businesses in the community and how we think they're doing with their businesses and how they're adapting to this changing world. We're going to talk a little bit about local politics. There's been some information passed out. Hot topic seems to be Pitt Street, the option of Pitt Street closing. So we're going to discuss that a little bit. And then we're going to talk a little bit about social media and how it's changed in the last maybe month and a half since all of this has started. So guys, business-wise, how are you guys doing with your business? Have you seen a decline? Are you staying busy? What are your clients calling you about? What's happening with your business?
There's definitely a lot of people that I've spoken to. Anyway, I've seen a lot of business is still happening, so I'm not going to say it's come to a halt, but people are a little bit cautious or a little bit afraid of walking into other people's houses or having people come into their houses. I know that I'm facing that issue with one of my listings right now. It is what it is. And I mean, it's up to these people. You got to be comfortable. If you're going to have strangers walk through your house, you need to be comfortable with that. And if you're not, it's just, there's a lot more hurdles now and a lot more obstacles now, which is tricky, but we can overcome.
What about you, Eric?
I agree. There's definitely more involved in listing and showing houses. Definitely gloves and masks are not even an option anymore. That's a for sure. If you're going through anybody's houses, people want us to wear them. So I mean, that's one thing. Signing affidavits or declarations is another thing that we require our buyers and sellers to sign, just to make sure everybody's comfortable with letting us into the houses. As for business, I've definitely seen a slowdown. For sure, there's a slowdown with the amount of business that we should be doing right now in a spring market. But I think that people still need to, we're quote unquote essential, right? People still need to buy and sell houses, so we're still handling them as they come. I'd love to say that this is going to be over quickly and we can get back to normal and start helping more people, because there's definitely some people that are holding back and not taking care of this or pushing it off. But right now things are moving forward. It's more essential than wants. It's needs versus wants right now. But we're adapting and we're making it happen.
Nick, how's things going on your end?
Yeah, I agree on the slowdown for sure. On the inventory side, so not as many new listings as we would be expecting at this time of the year. As for buyers, I do find that the buyer side of things, they're still interested in seeing, they're still wanting to go through places, even with having to wear a mask and gloves or going into stranger houses. They're still interested in going through and putting offers and preparing to move on to the next chapter.
Now, just for everybody's information, our market is down in volume. We're down about 65% compared to where we were this time last year. That's been the norm for the last few weeks, is being down that much. In March, we were actually up 10%, but I think that's when everything was starting to be introduced. So I think what we saw then was the pandemic was coming. Everybody was aware it was coming, so people were panicking to buy something, which is, sales went up. Now, with that being said, volume being down that much, prices have not been affected, and in some cases, prices are up because of the lack of inventory. So, you know, I think, and we've all talked about this previously, is you know, prediction wise, our market isn't going to get hit like those bigger cities were. I don't see us our values coming down too much, if any at all. They will stable out, I think, for sure. We've been seeing a really steady increase, but I see that stabling out. Have you guys ran into anybody who was interested in selling, but because of everything that's going on, has decided to hold off temporarily? Have you ran into that?
Absolutely. And I've been working with a few people who are, you know, have been planning on selling come spring when the market's hot, but now they don't know necessarily what's going to happen with their job and with their income specifically, right? So they're not feeling as comfortable moving up the ladder, I guess, as they would have been 6 months ago, right? So they're kind of just hanging tight. I don't think at the end of the year that they won't be willing to sell and they won't be willing to move up. But I just think for right now, everybody's kind of playing it safe and hanging tight, which I can't disagree with. I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty in the air right now. Who knows when people are going to get back to work? Like the people who aren't working right now, who knows when they'll get back to work? So for sure, it's definitely weighing on people's shoulders and affecting their decision to sell their houses, for sure, on the listing side. But on the buyer's side, I'll come back to what Nick was saying. On the buyer's side, people are still really active buying. People who need to buy are buying. People who are considering selling are now thinking, let's see if we can buy anything before we actually go and sell anything, just to get ourselves set up a little bit more. So I think on the buyer's side, it's still pretty busy, pretty active.
Nick, anything to throw in there?
No, I think they covered the bulk of that one.
Now my personal business, and maybe you guys can attest to this too. I am owner, but I'm an active agent as well, so I'm in the thick of things just like you guys. But I find that either people are concerned about it or they don't care too much at all. Like I haven't ran into anybody yet during showings where they were adamant about wearing face masks or wearing gloves. I haven't ran into that. Have you guys ran into that?
Yeah, mostly on the tenanted side though. For multi-family, multi-units, tenants have been kind of putting up a little bit more of a fuss when it comes to gloves and masks. On the just single family home buyers, I tend to agree with you. I don't feel like anybody's like really putting up a fuss on what happens. I think those who want to sell, and those who want to buy, want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a listing last week that it wasn't an option for the mask. The sellers were present. They stayed in the house. They had mask and gloves, and they wanted anyone coming through with mask and gloves, which is understandable. You have to respect that. You know,
yeah, that's fair.
They want to keep safe, and they want to make sure people coming through their house are staying safe.
Yeah.
But that was the first one I had come across that was like not an option. Have to wear it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I'm still getting messages, people asking if we are allowed to show houses, and people are actively still trying to sell. And the question to everybody out there is 100% yes. You know, if the property's listed, they're open to showings. We're taking certain precautions, and we've been over this a few times. You are going to answer a questionnaire to make sure that you haven't been in contact with anybody who has contracted COVID within the last 2 weeks. We want to make sure that you're feeling okay, that kind of stuff. Whenever you do go through the building or the house, you're not touching anything as clients. The agents are opening doors, turning off lights, that kind of stuff. And we're even encouraging our sellers to make sure all the lights are on and any closet doors or that kind of thing are open, so that nobody really has to touch anything as they go in. Interesting news today, actually, I found this out, and Eric, you can probably start with this, but CMHC has come out with an update, and they're discussing the possibility of increasing the down payment from 5% to 10%.
Yeah, so I just found out about this late last night, and I think it could reach a lot of people, specifically first-time home buyers. So CMHC is predicting some pretty heavy decreases in property values. They're saying anywhere between 10% in bigger areas of Canada for a decrease of house value. So that's pretty epic. And to counterbalance that, I guess, to protect themselves, they're considering possibly increasing the minimum down payment for anybody, I guess, from 5% to 10%. So that's
pretty interesting. Sorry, Eric, didn't mean to cut you off. I'll let you continue. I just so everybody's aware, this is a statement I got from the article that you sent me, actually. The resulting combination of the higher mortgage debt, declining house prices, and increased unemployment is cause for concern for Canada's long-term financial stability. And they're forecasting, like you said, in 9 to 18% decrease in 12 months in property values, which is why they're talking about doing this.
Yeah, so I mean, the first-time home buyers, those that only really saved 5% and were getting ready to purchase. I mean, if you're not purchasing soon, or if you're not getting approved soon, that could change to 10% and could affect that market of first-time home buyers. In a city like Cornwall, I'd say it would be in the anywhere from 100, 150 range up to 250, 300 range, where if that's the case, those properties are going to sit on the market a little bit longer. They might not get that multiple offers situations that they would have moving forward with just the 5%. So that's kind of the window where the market might cool down a little bit, and properties are going to sit on the market a little bit longer. The higher price properties, the more expensive properties, the 500,000 plus, those aren't going to be affected as much because those are being bought by people who have money, who have saved some equity in their properties, and don't rely on the 5%. They're probably going to be putting 20% down or more. But the properties that the first-time home buyers are going to be purchasing, that in our market, 150 to 250, call it, range, those properties are going to be less, I guess, desirable or less purchased. So they might end up sitting on the market a little bit longer. They might not go for over asking like they have been lately. So that could cool the market a little bit down and kind of affect first-time home buyers a little bit more.
Just for everybody's information, so our average house price is about $255,000 in the Cornwall area. So 5% is about $12,500. So if it increases, it'll increase to $25,000 is what you'll need to buy a house, which is pretty substantial. Your business, guys, what would you say the percentage is of people who are actually first-time home buyers that you work with?
For me, probably about 25%, 25%. And Eric, like, I 100% agree. I do think first-time home buyers will likely be affected. Regarding the houses staying on the market that long, if it's that type of home, first-time home, I worked with a few investors that are moving away from duplex, triplex, fourplexes, and are focusing on single-family homes to invest in, as it might be easier to maintain. You get a higher quality tenant. They're paying 20% anyway or more, right? So I don't know if these houses are necessarily going to be affected when listing, but I definitely agree that first-time home buyers will have a harder time buying their first home. That makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of see your point. What percentage of investors are buying these single family homes though, out of all of the single family homes that are being sold right now? Is it really a big percentage, or is it really like these single family homes? These are mostly being bought by just individuals who plan on moving in, right?
Yeah, and I mean, you're probably right, but I'm just going by what I've seen and a few of the people that I've worked with. I'll tell you right now, if there's a well-priced single family home that's sat on the market and that's decreasing in value, like that is becoming harder to sell, there's at least 3 or 4 names that I can call that I'm sure every one of you can call, and they'd likely buy that house. As long as the numbers make sense, investors are making moves on it.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? It makes me think that like there's not only going to be a shift in the market with, I guess, first-time home buyers, but there's going to be a shift in the approach that investors take now and moving forward with this change of rules, because investors either way are going to be spending 20% or investing 20%, whether they're buying a single family home or a multi-family home, doesn't matter. They're still going to be putting 20% down. So if the market cools down on the single family home between the 150 and 250 range or whatnot, then I think maybe, like you said, we're going to see more investors coming in and buying those up, which could kind of help sellers sell their properties kind of a little bit quicker too. So I do see that.
Interesting enough, this article also talked a little bit about the mortgage deferral, and part of the reason for these increases is because people are deferring their mortgages, and they're concerned because the more they defer, the longer they defer, then the less money they'll have for other things, and then the higher debt they're assuming that people will accumulate. So they're saying right now, as of right now, 12% of mortgages out there are currently being deferred, and they're projecting that to go to 20%. So that's pretty huge. You know, I don't know anybody personally who has done it, but my question to that statement is, how many of those people are doing it as a precaution? So they're putting the money away, but they're deferring their mortgage just in the event that they do come up short with something. Have you guys ran into anybody who is deferring, or who is talking about deferring, or looked into it a little bit deeper?
I talked to a couple clients who were considering it. My advice was, don't do it unless you absolutely need to. I think that the costs associated to deferring the accumulated interest and the payment that are going to come about, I mean, it really depends on your financial institution too, because there's different rules with different financial institutions. Some will require you to prepay bigger amounts to catch up. Some will just allow you to put the payments at the end of the amortization. So if it's at the end of the amortization and your 25-year amortization just went to 25 and call it 3 months or 6 months, then it's not too big of a deal. But if you have to try and catch up on those payments to be able to get to the same point where you would have been at the end of your term, so say you're 3 months in or 3 years into your term, and you got to catch up the payments that you didn't pay by the end of your term, then it's just going to add more stress on you, and either way you're going to be paying more interest at the end of the whole 25-year term. So you got to really weigh your options and think, do I need to be deferring these payments, or do I just want to because it could make me feel a little bit safe? I've been trying to tell my clients or people who have been considering deferring their payments that, like, do it if you absolutely need to, but if you don't need to do it, try and make those payments as normal.
Yeah, I think we can all agree on that. Obviously, that's best case scenario. But
I don't know if that answers the question that you were asking, but that's what I've been telling my clients. If you need it, do it. But if you don't need it, don't do it, because it could just add stress long term.
For those who don't know, Eric is a mortgage representative. Mortgage agent. Okay, I know there's different. So he is a mortgage agent and a sales representative. So he's our resident mortgage professional anyway. So despite what we've said, I think we can all agree that right now we are in a strong seller's market. buyers are competing for properties, and with the potential to for the down payment to go up. If you're on the fence about buying, now's the time to actively get involved with your home search. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll make sure that we're providing you and our clients with the proper information as we're made aware of it with any of this down payment information. So they're just talking about it at this point. It's just the initial phases of it. They're assuming that values are potentially going to go down. So, which is why they're trying to come up with something to combat that. So we'll make sure that we're keeping you posted on the way. So obviously, guys, we'll kind of move into this COVID. Obviously, this is all about COVID because COVID has impacted our industry as much as everybody else's. So we've got word that campsites are open, that marinas are open. So my question to you guys is, what are you looking forward to opening the most? Gee, what are you looking forward to opening and being able to enjoy?
I am dreaming about patios. I want vodka sodas flying at me. I want calamari, and I want, I don't know, pieces of deep fried chicken, whatever, popcorn or wing or tender. I don't give a crap. I want that. I want to be guilt-free, surrounded with my people, having a good time, supporting some local businesses, and just getting loose, man. Just chilling,
Nick, what about you?
I mean, I can't argue with G about fried food, some vodka sodas, and a patio. Like, sounds great, but I'm pretty pumped for the gym to open back up, to be completely honest with you. I feel like that keeps me pretty locked into a routine when I can be there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
How are you guys doing? Are you all experiencing the COVID-15? Like, are you putting on weight? What's going on?
I don't think I've been hungry in 9 weeks. So I have for sure gotten a little plumper, 100%. I've been eating good. I got a Traeger just in time. It's a good way to, I saw one of their ads that said this machine kills boredom, and it's true. And it kept me busy, and it's kept me fat, and it's great. I'm happy about it.
Eric, what about you? You're a frequent gym guy too, or how are you doing with your
Yeah. You know what? I agree with Nick with like, I can't wait for the gyms to be open. I've definitely in the past gone months without going to the gym. And I've found myself just getting back to the gym and I guess building that little fluff that I got into muscle. So I'm not too worried about not looking good a few weeks after the gym opens, I guess, it comes back quick. But yeah, for routine though, like, and Nick mentioned it, routine, being at the gym helps me so much with the routine. So I've definitely seen my coming to the office, getting some gym workouts and being structured decline a little bit more, and kind of having my life a little bit all over the place and all over the map a little bit more. And I think that the gym would really help me out with that. But when it comes to the quarantine 15 that you mentioned, I'm not too worried about it. I'll turn the fluff into some muscle as soon as we get to the gym again.
That's a statement coming from a young guy for sure. I can't COVID-15 as easily as you can. Nick, we've talked too, and you've bought a little bit of fitness gear to use at home. Have you been taking advantage of that, or do you find it hard to come up with the motivation?
I think it's a little bit hard. I mean, you go to the gym, you don't have a 3-year-old climbing on your back while you're trying to do stuff, and you're not at home looking at all the stuff you could be doing, or the couch that you really just want to be lounging on. But I mean, I've taken advantage of it when I can find the time.
Yeah, those who know me or follow me at all on social media know that I have a home setup, and I'm pretty diligent with it. So I'm fortunate in that sense. I can honestly, guys, we'll talk about routine and maybe what you guys have been doing to kind of keep your head sane. But honestly, the only thing that has worked for me, maybe as vain as it is working out. If I don't work out one day, it completely dictates my mood for the rest of the day. So I've been working out in the morning, waking up, I'll have my coffee before the kids get up, and then I'm working out in my garage. And if I don't do that, then I'm just cranky and moody. No energy. Like, I'm not into it. Like, what are you guys doing to kind of keep your sanity and keep your heads on straight?
I lost mine a few weeks ago. Sorry, Eric, you go ahead.
No. You know what? I'm happy for this nice weather that we've been getting recently. I think that the cold at the beginning of this entire pandemic or episode right now, it was cold. March, April, it's been cold, and being outside was not much of an option. I mean, you take the four-wheeler out and rip in the mud and the snow, and that's fun, but this nice sun and this nice weather has really helped me out, and being able to take the dog out for a run out near the water, and I don't know, just being able to go off and have walks with the girlfriend and enjoy the nice weather has really helped me out a lot in the times that we live right now. Anybody else? No? Yeah?
No, I can't say that I have anything that, like, I feel like day to day it changes a little bit. I've been spending a lot of time finishing that list that I continue to start projects and not finish, seeing as we're home. We, we take the kids out to the parks and stuff, just like the fields that we can go to, and let them run, get some energy out. They're going just as stir crazy as the rest of us. But as for something that keeps the routine going, like, it's a free for all, I think, on a daily basis.
I like did my best. I think my wife and I, like all of us, we did our absolute best to be our best selves in the beginning of COVID, right? And, at first it was 2 weeks and then another 2 weeks and then, who knows how long kind of thing. And I mentioned to you guys, I was struggling a little bit. I was having a hard time. And can we swear?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I think it was important for me at one point to go, fuck it. Like, just lean into COVID. Don't change out of your sweatpants. Eat the food, like for my sanity, I had to adjust and I had to just lean into it and be like, yo, you can't go to the gym and you can't just go to work. And we have a 2-year-old at home, and anybody who knows her knows she's busy as shit, man. She's crazy. She's all over the place. So it is hard. It was hard. And I had to lean into COVID life, or whatever it was, the new norm, or whatever you want to call it, in order for me to have some sanity. And I don't know if this is too opinionated or whatever, but in my opinion, physical health is useless if you don't have good mental health. And it was important to me to stay happy and to stay cheerful and to do certain things maybe I wasn't supposed to do, but I needed it for my sanity and for my family's sanity, and had to do what we had to do,
I think that's completely fair, because it's whatever keeps you mentally strong. And you're right, like, you need to be mentally strong. So it's amazing how we all have different outlooks on maybe what's keeping us sane. So when you listen to and read what the experts are saying, they're like, routine. Well, Nick, you have absolutely no routine at all. They talk about fitness is one of those things where you should focus on, and obviously you're complete opposite. You want to keep your sanity somewhere else. And for me, I need that fitness or that workout to keep my sanity at all. So you're absolutely right, G. I think it's whatever works for you to keep you mentally in the right place, because if you're not mentally there, then you're lost. And I think we've all probably dealt with the bouts and the ups and downs during this time. We've talked about it, and I think the struggle is to keep you and your family mentally where they need to be during this time.
I gotta say, honestly, for so long I've been looking forward to the boat launches opening and the yacht clubs and marinas opening, because that right there is gonna be what allows me to stay sane. Being able to take the sailboat out and go sailing, and just having a couple friends on the boat and just enjoying the water and the sun is definitely gonna be that thing that allows me to just be mentally stable 100%.
Interesting, eh? So these boats are allowed on the water now and on the marinas? and correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys have heard otherwise, but my father-in-law was out on the water the other day with my sister-in-law, and they were stopped by an RCMP, and they reiterated that you're not allowed more than 5 people, and they threatened to fine them because they were separate households. So you're allowed to be on the water, but you need to be with whoever you're living with, and that's pretty much it at this point. Have you guys heard otherwise?
No, I think that's the truth. I think that's the truth. I don't think that that's going to change for a little while anyways. Whether people are going to listen to it or not this summer is a whole different story. I might include myself in that group that aren't necessarily listening much. But yeah, I think that's true. I think there are limitations to the boating season, and I know that it's not going to be like other years. But if I can get out on the boat, I'm happy.
I guess you can look at maybe tying up to each other, the boats tying up to each other, kind of thing. If you have friends with
I don't even, you know, I don't even know if that's going to be an option, because well, we're still all together, right? But I mean, if it is an option, that's all we do anyways. We just tie up together and together. So if that's the case and we're allowed to do that, then awesome.
Now, beaches are open at campgrounds, so I guess you obviously have to do your social distancing there and have to be 6 feet apart, but you can still get a lot of people on those beaches, right? I mean, what's the difference between having, 100 people at a beach or having 5-6 people on your 30-foot sailboat?
Yeah. I don't like to get into what's the difference between that. We can start talking about what's the difference between standing in line at Walmart and going out to the park with a couple people. But I agree. I didn't even know about the beaches, to be honest, Troy. That's a surprise to me, but I'm happy about hearing that.
I don't know about public beaches. I don't know where that stands, but I know that campsites are open, and we have somebody who works here that is a seasonal campsiter, and beaches are open. The pool's closed, but beaches are open, and you have to use that social distancing, 6 feet apart kind of thing. So,
okay.
So
Alberta
Eric, I just want
to.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Alberta announced that gatherings up to 50 people.
Oh, is that right? Oh, that's good.
Yeah, because their numbers are so low.
Go ahead, G.
Well, Eric mentioned something about waiting in line at Walmart or whatever, and I find it hilarious, and I saw somebody make a meme out of it. But when you're standing in line, you have your trolley here, or your cash, and then 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. But right next to it, there's another cart or another cache, and 6 feet, 6 feet, right? But these things are 2 feet apart.
Yeah.
And like, anyway, I find that funny.
Everybody's doing the best they can, but you're right. I mean, there's just like, best
you can, that's it.
Nailed the other day. Like I was going through the grocery store, and I should have known better. This was a few weeks ago at this point, but I was getting dirty looks, and I'm like, what the hell am I getting dirty looks? Like I'm showered, I'm clean, like I wasn't in my pajamas, like I don't know. And anyway, some guy stops me and he goes, "Hey, listen, by the way, I don't care, but you're going down the wrong way." And I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "Though the arrows on the ground are pointing in the wrong direction." So I was looping back and forth down the wrong way, the directions, and I didn't even think about it. And he's laughing, saying, "I don't care," but sure enough, that's why I was getting dirty looks. So.
You know what? This happened to me, the same thing, and I had someone point it out, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I felt dumb, but I just don't understand the point. I guess I tried to think about it, and I guess it kind of makes a little bit of sense, but I really had to think about it to try and make up a reason why it made sense. Well,
there's a flow, right? They're trying to control the flow, and those arrows have cost me hundreds of dollars at the LCBO. Because you need to go here, but you need to come down this way to go up, and you're like, oh well, bottle of gin need that. Oh, a couple of White Claws need those. Oh yeah, I need that bottle of vodka too. You know.
Yeah.
They got me, man. They get me.
So I haven't been to the liquor store yet. Thankfully, I'm pretty stocked up, but I did want to go yesterday. I went and did groceries. My plan was to put the groceries in the truck and then hit the liquor store. And the lineup for the liquor store is unbelievable. You guys are waiting? Like, are you waiting? Are you having it delivered?
I had to run to Ingleside on the weekend. And so on my way to Ingleside, I noticed that there was no lineup at the LCBO in Long Sault, which I mean is a much, much smaller store, but still had what I was looking to pick up. There was like one person in the store, so I was in and out in 5 minutes because I was out that way.
That's nice.